yeah, it's like I see the guys when they come in some days, and it's, you know, we've all got shit going on in our life.
Yep.
Man, once again, like one of my friends back in Sydney used to do this. He'd come in for a session occasionally, and usually be really technical. And there'd always be a time where he'd come in, and I could see the look on his face from the start, and I'm like, okay, something's going on. Like something's going on in this man's life. And I'm like, what do you want to do today? And he's like, it's just the usual. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And in my head, I'm clocking it. I'm going, all right, needs to hit some shit hard today. So then I'd just change. I'd be like, right, because I was like, my job as a coach is to give you the session that you need. Sometimes you know what you need, sometimes you don't know what you need. Right. Sometimes you think you know what you need, and then I have to hide what you need within that. You know, it's kind of like hiding the vegetables, you know? It's like, kids, eat your vegetables. No, I've put some cheese on it. They're like, okay. You know, like, don't eat vegetables, they're poison. Sorry, vegans. But yeah, so I just feel like I could see you just needed that release. So I just run him through a warm up and then just grab the pads out straight away and just push him. And then I'd get him to the point where this amazing thing, especially for men, I think this amazing thing happens when you get into that space. It's like I just push him and wouldn't let him quit, you know. Not in a mean way, but motivating. Wouldn't let him quit. You know, push him to the point where it's just like, he doesn't think he's got anything left. He thinks he's weak. And then help him get through that. And, you know, show him he's got the strength to push through it. And then afterwards we'd finish, and I'd always finish the same way. Drop down on the floor, gloves come off. I'd sit next to him. Boom, hand on the shoulder. Man, proud of you for the session today. Did really well. And then we'd sit there for the next 15 minutes and he'd open up about the shit in his life, you know? So, like, I think for men especially, this is like the kind of, when you have that community in martial arts, it's like, and I've had these sessions myself. I'm like, I've got, you know, just mental shit going on in my life, struggling with everything. Everything seems too much. I'm walking around all day long with this pent up ball emotion and energy. And it's like, I'll send one of my boys a message and I'll be like, dude, I need 3 rounds of pads and I need you to murder me. And I'll come in, and my coaches have done this for me before, and I come in, I just like, right, I don't want technique, I just need you to slaughter me for the next half an hour. And they jump on the pads and they do exactly that. Within 5 minutes, I want to quit, but I can't, because now I need to push through something. And with every, you know, minute that we're breaking down that physical barrier in myself, we're also getting closer to the point, or making the wall thinner to the point where I'm going to express that emotion afterwards, and I'm going to work out what's going on. So I push myself to that physical exhaustion, and by the time we get to the end of it, there's been times where I've dropped down, gloves come off, tears start immediately, or gloves come off, jump down, friend gives me a hug, and then it's like just floodgates open, we can start accessing and assessing whatever it is that's really bothering me that got to that stage. So it's like, for me, training sometimes is therapy. You know, it's a really healthy way for me to get sometimes the mess that's in my head out.
I never thought of it like that, actually. In that way, you know, like you'd feel like some tension and then train and then release that tension after.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what you do. It's like, I guess I've got my theory behind it. I could be wrong, but I got a couple of theories behind it. So it's like, I think, like, you know, we're told that whole thing that, like, you know, men don't speak about their emotions, men don't reach out, we hold everything in, and that's true. That's generational. Like, I'm hoping within the next generations it changes, and it definitely is. But for the most part, it's like, you know, how I grew up, it's like, you know, the men in my family didn't talk about anything. Nothing was ever wrong. They were the strong male role figures of the household. So it was never like there was never like an okay, safe space for them to be like, this is bothering me, right? They just had to hold it all in, hold it together, be strong. So I think it's not until that you're just surrounded by another man doing something hyper masculine, like cracking pads as hard as you fucking can, right? And pushing through that physical. It's like we almost need to go through that physical war of the manliest shit possible to then be like, okay, yeah, I've ticked the box that I'm a man. Now I can talk about my shit, you know?
Right.
And it's like that, or it could just be that you just, that sense of not allowing yourself to talk about it, right, is a mental barrier. So if I make my brain as tight as possible, that barrier is thinner or weaker, so it escapes out. Because I'm pretty, like, I am 100% certain that when you hold all that stuff in, it's just like a dude sitting in a glass box inside of you, just like, oi, fucker, let me out. Like, it doesn't want to be in there. And like, I've learned this now. It's like, I used to walk around and hold everything in and then just explode one day. And I'm like, yeah, right. All those thoughts that I'm like holding onto and not speaking about, it's literally just that like, they don't want to be in here. They got to be expressed somewhere. I just need to find an outlet for that. This is one of my outlets. I do the same thing whenever I'm like, man, I feel like something's bothering me. And I can't work out what it is. I'm like, nah. I'm like, I know it. I'm starting to get snappy with people. I'm like, I need to make something. I'm not sure what's upsetting me. Something's pissed me off. And there's like some emotion in here. So it's like, I have a playlist on my phone called Feel This. And it's a collection of songs that I've just like, whenever I hear a song and I have a strong emotional reaction to it, I put it in there, and it's a weird eclectic mix of shit. But then I'll like put my headphones in and I'll listen to that playlist, and I'll go and hit the bag, or I'll go for a run, or I'll go and shadow box as hard as I can for like 30 minutes. And as it goes on, I get to the end of it and I'm tired. It gives me clarity because I sit down and then I have a moment of slight silence and I'm like, that's what it was. And I find what it is that's been pissing me off. And then now that I've identified it, I can work through it and move on. I give myself that physical release in order to access what's inside, or give myself some clarity, which then provides a direction to move forwards.
Wow. So like, you're feeling all these different emotions, like negative emotions that you're feeling, like tension and stuff, the anger, or maybe it's like the sadness, whatever it is, right? Grief. And then you're processing that literally through taking your body like to the physical exhaustion, basically.
It doesn't usually have to be physical exhaustion. Sometimes it can just be like moving. Like I'm pretty sure I started doing it after I read in I'm like, yeah, I read in this book. No, and I could be wrong, but it's like men will process and communicate better by doing something through action. So it's like when you create like physical activity, like men's brains start to process things. It's like with like the whole thing, like men and women are different. And I remember that was one of the key points that I took away, and I'm not going to get the wording right, but it was basically just like, if you're struggling with something and you need to communicate, go for a walk. Right? It's like, put yourself in motion and you'll be able to think about it more clearly. Because men like to, we're action based. We have to do something. We have to fix something. So it's just like when even just something as simple as going for a walk and trying to work through a problem in your head, it's like you do it quicker. So I was just like, all right, cool. That makes sense why I feel better after I hit pads really hard and I've been feeling a bit shit and down beforehand. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to start using this as one of my tools, one of my little martial arts therapy tools for myself to keep myself in check. And that's what I mean. It's like, that's got nothing to do with fighting, but it's a fucking great asset in my life to have. And it's something that, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be I don't know if I'd be doing it if I started, playing like badminton, like I'm not trying to rag on badminton. It's fun, but I don't know. I'm not sure there's a podcast out there where there are badminton players sitting down saying the same thing. So it's a powerful thing.
Yeah, because as you say that, I'm thinking about when I play football, like soccer, for any Americans listening.
And Australians.
And Australians, yeah.
It's soccer.
It's actually called football.
No, it's not. There's like 4 footballs in the world. Just fucking pick one.
We invented football.
We can't all have a game called football. You go to America, they're like, hey, they're watching a football.
Well, Americans are retarded. They call football.
And they play with their hands. Australia's the same. We got AFL. We call that football. Yeah. You carry the ball in your hands and then you just kick it occasionally. It's the fucking dumbest sport on earth. We call it aerial ping pong. It's really what it looks like.
Yeah, what a game, eh? I've never played that game, actually.
Just don't play it. Right. Don't. I'm the least Australian person on earth because we have like 2 main sports and I've never played any of them. It's like if you grow up in Australia, chances are you play cricket in the summer and footy in the winter, or AFL. Never played either of them.
There's no appeal there, is there?
Yeah, no, don't hand me a bat. Oh, they hand me a bat, Mike. Can I hit someone with this? Is it a weapon? I got to hit the ball? Why is he throwing it at me?
Fucking AFL. Oh, man. No one even watches that in England. Like, it's just...
No, why would you?
Like, it's Sunday morning. I want to go watch the AFL down the pub.
Yeah, no.
Only Aussies think like that because obviously it's a national sport. But
no, you were saying you're playing football.
Oh yeah, it just makes me more angry when I play football.
Makes you more angry?
Yeah, because it's a team sport, right? So if someone doesn't do their fucking job, I get fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And I was the captain growing up, so so that. I know from experience that playing, that's why I don't play anymore, because it just makes me angry. But I guess I got to work through my own shit with that, you know. But with boxing, like whenever I've hit the bag, like it helps me process that anger. Like I'm just every punch is like fucking.
Well, it just teaches you. It teaches you to have some confidence and rely within yourself, because like there's no one really to lean on. Like it's just you at the end of the day. Like. Yeah, it's like martial arts. Like it is and it isn't a solo sport. A lot of people just think it's like it takes when you fight, it takes a team of people. You know, it's like I need training partners, I need coaches, and there's people around me. But it is solo in the sense where it's just like a lot of that motivation and that discipline to get shit done comes from within me. Because if I drop the ball, it's like say playing a game of soccer. It's like, man, it's like I roll up game day. I'm like, I'm just not feeling it today. I might just hang back in there. I don't know, outfield. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
I've never played soccer either. Football. I've never played football. It's like, I'm not really feeling it today. Jimmy's got this. He's going to carry the team for us today. I can't do that when I show up to fight. I just can't walk in. I just can't walk into the cage and just be like, I'm really not feeling this now. Mike, you got this, and just turn back to my coach and expect him to do it for me. Like, nah, it's just you, and that's a scary as shit thing to think about. And it's what a lot of people. It's why a lot of people kind of like freeze in that moment when they have their first fight, is because the moment you think you're going to prepare for it, you always think you're going to be prepared. You're never prepared. You're never prepared until you experience it.